Right. So, another time we welcome you all to another episode of Bridging Paths, where two coaches, Chiradeep and I, we try to explore things that bother us or are there in our day-to-day life, and we are here on Zoom for a one-on-one interaction. So please feel free and let this podcast be a very interactive podcast for all of us.
So good to be back after 2 weeks and more than that, because we shifted from Tuesday to Thursday. We are loving this Zoom format. I'm sure you all are loving this also, because it lets us to have more heartfelt interactions and real-time conversation with all of you. Before we dive in, let's go over some quick ground rules to make this space comfortable and safe. Otherwise, we Indians are not, we need rules every time. Please stay on mute unless you are sharing. Raise your hand when you are ready to contribute. Number two, let's hold space for all voices. No interruptions, no judgments. Try to find a quiet space if possible. If you are comfortable, feel free to keep your camera on. We would love to see you. Otherwise, it's optional. You can keep it off as well. And lastly, question and answer session will follow after our main conversation. Feel free to jot your thoughts or type them in the chat box, and we will discuss later.
Okay. So, as we know today's title, which is Emotionally Yours But Not Mine, and before we get into when we start discussing this topic, we would want to have some kind of reflection, which is for you. Because the cameras are off, we would just say that let's not get bothered or distracted by others' reply and focus on your replies. Generally, we wanted all of you to be on your camera, close your eyes, and just raise your hands as we read out the questions if you relate to them or not. But currently, just feel comfortable and listen to the question carefully. And we would request you to raise your hand or show us some kind of a symbol to show your resonance to the question. I hope you all are ready for this. Again, some reactions, please.
I am.
Yes.
Thank you.
There are many emojis. Yes. Yes. Lights, camera,
Yes.
actions.
Okay, so let's begin with the questions then.
Yeah. Here are the questions. Have you ever felt a lump in your throat but smiled anyway? These are all thought-provoking questions. Listen carefully and think about it. Have you ever tried explaining what you were going through but couldn't find the right words to match what you felt?
So we'll go a little slow.
Yeah.
Good. Chiradeep, can you go back to the first question?
Sure.
Kalpana, are you there with us?
Yeah,
Yes,
thumbs
I'm
up.
keeping it on mute.
She showed thumbs up, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let me go back to the first question again, and we will see the thumbs down or up again. Have you ever felt a lump in your throat but smiled anyway?
That's have you actually you had tears in your eyes where
Yeah.
रोना आ रहा था, लेकिन आपकी surrounding ऐसी थी that you smiled anyway and you was just there.
Yes, yes.
Next.
Yeah. The second question is, have you ever tried explaining what you were going through but couldn't find the right words to match what you felt?
So it's like you were not able to express what you were going through. The intensity of what you were going through, you were not. People who have just joined, just to give you an idea what we are doing, we are reading out a few questions which are self-reflective questions, and we would want you all to listen to the question carefully, let them and see if you resonate with the question, if there were an incident that you could relate to them, just give us some kind of indication, raise your hand, show us a thumbs up, or chat in the chat box, just write yes.
Yeah. Yes or no. You don't have to forcefully write yes.
Absolutely not.
Yes. The third question is, we finished the third question. No, the third question is, have you ever shouted at someone in anger when all you really needed was help?
Because it's not easy to ask for help. So
Right.
instead, that frustration came out as anger, shouted at a person, where what we really wanted was just help. Okay.
The last question. Have you ever laughed at jokes and looked cheerful on the outside, while deep down you were struggling to make sense of your emotions?
People who have not participated, we just hope that even if you have not participated with us, you've reflected on the questions for your own self, because it's absolutely fine to not answer it publicly, but have a reflection.
Great.
All right. So I hope you were honest with yourself, and thank you very much for being honest.
I have a
Um,
question, Niti. Here.
yes.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Mhm.
What about you? All these
You want
questions.
me to all the answers? We'll
Yeah.
have to go back. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll have to
Maybe
go
some
back
other
there.
time. Okay. Proceed.
Yes. So basically, what we want to know from all of you, have you ever wondered that why at times it's so hard to voice what you are actually going through or feeling? Or why it is so difficult even to identify that what are we going through emotionally? Yes. So basically, we often talk about IQ and we praise people. क्या intelligent इंसान है, उसका intelligent quotient कितना अच्छा है, and we admire who have that in abundance. We really look forward to people with high IQ, and we link it to success. Because IQ अच्छा है तो इंसान brilliant है, successful है, capable है. That's how we have been looking at a situation. But now, my concern, or what I wanted to understand, is how often have we paused and we thought about something as essential as emotional intelligence, EI? What is it? And more importantly, have you ever thought that if we don't have it, let's build around it? Yes. And what about others? Abhijit, yes, you are an emotional fitness coach, so having a yes from you is expected. What about others? Yes, great. They are happy. So keep interacting so that we know you are there. We cannot see your faces, but we would like to hear you out in some or the other form.
Yes. And now, as Niti asked, what is it really? What is EQ? So, according to Google, emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. That's Google's definition. And this shows up in ways we don't even realize at times. Like when a manager under pressure ends up snapping at their team, not because they dislike them, but because they don't know how to process their own stress. Or when someone avoids talking about their needs in a relationship, choosing silence over confrontation, because they aren't sure how to express those feelings. Right?
Relatable.
Yeah. Relatable? Yes or no? You can write in chat box or show thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yes. Or think of someone who's always joking around, lightening the mood, being the happy one. But inside, they are carrying unresolved pain,
Mm.
which they might not even have acknowledged themselves.
Mm.
And then there is a friend who shuts everyone out when they are feeling low.
Mm.
How many times we actually do that, that we just do not know and we shut ourselves up because we do not want to talk with people. Not, I would not say that happens because they don't care, but because they haven't figured out. Even when Chiradeep, you were asking about it, I do it a lot of time now, till now also. When I feel low, I will shut myself and I would not like to talk to people. Where not again, not because I do not care about others, not because it's something I do not want to snap. I want to figure out what is going with it. मेरे अंदर क्या चल रहा है जब तक मेरे को यही नहीं पता चलेगा. I do not want to talk to others in an irritated tone without even having been able to figure out. Um, and honestly, asking support at that time isn't that easy for me. So yes, that's how I guess that's how I can best put in. Asking for support is not that easy where I call up a person. I am trying to come up in that position, at least with one person, जिसको हम phone उठा के बोले कि look, this is how I feel right now, and I would want just to talk or figure out or process or whatever, but I am unable to do it. So, what we are trying to share here are everyday moments where emotional intelligence or the lack of it quickly plays out. So, all these situations were about emotional intelligence, right?
Yes. And so, what does emotional intelligence really involve? Let's break it down in three simple yet powerful aspects. And we begin with one that sounds simple, but is actually the toughest: self awareness. And that is where we, most of the time, we jump to the solution. We don't check ourselves. We see others first. That person hurt me, but it starts from within. So self awareness is should be the first one to begin with. Yes, Niti, please go ahead.
ये जब आप बोल रहे हो ना सेल्फ अवेयरनेस, देयर वाज अ पॉइंट जब हम ये वर्ड सुनते थे ना कहीं पर भी पॉडकास्ट में, और आई यूज्ड टू कम अक्रॉस अ बुक, आई यूज्ड टू रीड दैट बुक, आई वाज लाइक कितना बुकिश और फिलोसॉफिकल है सेल्फ अवेयरनेस. ये तो हमको भी पता है दैट आई नीड टू बी सेल्फ अवेयर, बट उसका क्या? एंड इवन इफ आई एम सेल्फ अवेयर, पता है कि अभी ये फील कर रहे हैं, हाउ एम आई सपोज्ड टू प्रोसेस दिस? So here, and that's one of the major reasons we wanted to come up with this. So emotional intelligence, agar dekha jaye, it's a vast subject. The only thing that we want to touch base upon today, and if you want, we can have an episode 2 of it. We've not even thought. ये अभी randomly निकल रहा है. चिरदीप बाद में हमसे पूछेंगे क्या बोला तुमने. We can have, because in this particular episode the only focus is understanding emotional intelligence for our own selves, because that's how, until and unless we understand for our own selves, we'll not be able to take it forward and understand for others. जब हम लोग दूसरों के लिए बोलते हैं we understand, we actually might not. Yes, Abhijit.
Is it okay if I say something now, or should I hold it back to the end? That's my first
No,
question.
that's fine. No, that's fine. We have not started going into the three categories, so you may.
Okay, then I'll hold myself because I have something to say on self-awareness. If you want, I can
Okay.
say it now. Do you want me to say it now?
Okay, so let's just hold on. Let me complete the self-awareness part and then.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Vijay. So, yeah, please.
So we hear, but what does it actually mean? Self-awareness, and it's not just about knowing that I am angry or right now I am feeling sad. So we understand our emotional state while we are in it. Like I said, I'm irritated. So I do not want to pick up a call when I'm irritated. But that's an emotional state. But understanding, so where is emotional intelligence? Where I understand where the state is coming from. Identify करते वक्त हम लोग बोल सकते हैं, like one of the questions that Chiradeep asked, that when we shout at people when we need help, तो उस टाइम लग रहा है गुस्सा आ रहा है because people are acting out in some way. But वो गुस्सा stem कहाँ से हो रहा है? Where is that root cause of that anger?
Correct.
That is emotional intelligence. Right,
Exactly.
Chiradeep?
Exactly. Like, have you ever, आपने जैसे बोला कि yelling at, वो question आया था बीच में. So, I mean, then they realized later on. So, wait, I wasn't angry at them. I was just overwhelmed or stressed about something else. This is what usually we say it. That moment of realization, as you said, that self-awareness showing up, even if a bit late. And even Kalpana also commented, we want the other person to understand without speaking. That might be the biggest roadblock. Yes. And that's actually, we are not realizing it before, before shouting, which we should be. Right. Yeah, Niti, please go ahead.
Right. I mean, that makes so much of sense. Both Kalpana and Chiradeep, both of you, what you shared. It's like I shouted because I felt I was angry. And I would say I reacted. उसी टाइम एक इमोशन आया जिसके बेसिस पे I reacted. And later, it was self-awareness when I reflected. So that is self-awareness. As I said, वो question आता है self-awareness का मतलब क्या होता है? This is self-awareness जो ठीक है. It's a process. Maybe immediately नहीं आती, but with time we'll be able to have it in the situation as well. And the goal is that we build that awareness in the moment. That is the goal. To pause, say, what exactly am I feeling now? Is it frustration? Is it fear? Or is it guilt wrapped in an irritation? तो जो इमोशन आ रहा है उसका एक्चुअल फॉर्म है क्या? That identifying of that emotion is self-awareness.
Yeah. One thing that helps is labeling the emotion. As you said, as we realize, we can label it. Most of us just say, I feel bad. But I was thinking bad is a very broad term. It's not very specific. What if we want a little deeper or specific? I feel insecure. I feel unseen. I feel judged. Nobody, but I have seen that nobody says like this. They said, I feel bad. But bad doesn't make the other person understand what exactly that feeling is. Either the person is not self-aware, not expressing well, cannot identify the emotions he or she is going through, or express. Actually, they understand, but they don't realize it or express it properly. Suddenly, your internal mess starts making sense when you get specific at how you feel. I feel insecure. Yes, that's the right expression. The other person will definitely understand, okay, you are feeling insecure. Then he can act upon that insecurity. I feel bad, pointless. What do you say, Niti?
Exactly. So, yes, as you mentioned, of pointing out, saying exact emotion, and it's I would also say that at times, even recognizing that I'm going through something,
Correct.
but I'm unable to identify and put it a word. But इतना recognition तो लाना जरूरी है कि कुछ है जो कि सही नहीं लग रहा है. तो उस time पे what we need to do is sit with ourselves and dig deeper, trying to figure out कि क्या है जो अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, because self awareness is also recognizing our patterns. कहीं ना कहीं we feel that why in a certain situation I react similarly. Every time when I am put into a certain situation, मेरा reaction वही होता है. Maybe I snap. Maybe I feel anxious or restless. Just restless. So there is some pattern. कुछ तो है. Maybe there is a fear around my performance. If I talk about my office, it's a place where I am not able to recognize my worth, and I compare myself with others and always demean myself. That's why I am just fearful about the entire situation and I react in a certain way, or I go quiet. Though even I am not a person who will go quiet, but I go quiet. I go inward because there's a lot of comparison. So there are patterns to our emotions and our behaviors as well. So self-awareness is also recognizing the pattern. What exactly made me react and why this particular situation every time makes me react in a certain way. Yes, that is also self-awareness and it leads to एक एक करके एक स्टेप होता है. पहले अपने इमोशंस को पहचानना, फिर सिचुएशंस के साथ उनको रिलेट करके देखना कि इस सिचुएशन में I react in this way. That.
Let's try something here. Something you can try out and see. Think back to the last week. Okay. What were the top 3 emotions you felt, honestly? It has to be honest, because I remember last week or this current week I shared myself that okay, let me finish this one and ask the question, then you will. So I was like confused. I shared with Niti. I said I was confused. I don't know exactly. I'm still identifying, loading जैसा होता है इंटरनेट में, loading वैसा
इकट्ठे
होता है.
करते हैं ना, सारे जने करते हैं. So all of us, let's
Yeah.
together
Yeah. So
recognize emotions, right?
correct. And more importantly, did you notice them while they were happening or only after? Sometime afterwards, हम लोग identify करते हैं or before it. You may write them in the chat box or keep it to yourself. The idea is to be able to recognize them. If you recognize it and hold it back, do not share with us, it's fine, absolutely fine. If you want to share it with us, it's fine. Our target is you recognize it because it is helpful. Like I was confused. So I said many things. I gave a list to Niti. I sent it to her. And the feeling, I don't know. It's again broad. I'm feeling bad. So it's not identifying. So I'm processing it. I'm coming. Loading होके फिर identify कर लूंगा. Habit है, कर लूंगा मैं. So what about you? Have you thought about 3 emotions? Yeah, somebody. Oh, desolate, disheartened, and desperate. Noticed and analyzed as time went on. Thank you. Last week I was loved, felt homely, and financially drained. Oh my goodness. 2 positive emotions with 1 negative free.
And I guess someone also said that they were feeling okay.
Great.
Another positive emotion that we had.
Yeah.
I hope others are also trying to participate, find the right emotion, and type it down. We'll just give you 1 more minute before we continue.
Yes.
Again, if you have processed and you do not even want to type it down, you can just write in the chat box, done.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely fine. आपने अपने लिए करना है, हमारे लिए नहीं करना है. So the idea is to recognize.
Yeah.
Because the beauty of self-awareness is once you see your own emotion clearly, you stop misplacing it on others. आप ये काम नहीं करोगे, वो एंगर नहीं आएगा दूसरों के ऊपर क्योंकि आप recognize करोगे. And that will also help you to communicate better. And once you communicate better, you will handle situations differently. You will handle situation in a better, and you will not let your reactions take over. That's the beauty of being aware.
Yeah.
All right, we've received a few responses, and I guess we are good to continue. And here we'll take a pause because before we enter into the next segment of the second step of self awareness, Abhijit, you wanted to talk about. We still are getting responses, but that's okay. Yes.
No, let people kind of give responses. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So this is my view, and I'm kind of positively challenging everyone here not to type on the chat box or not to say anything right now. But let's take a step back. Okay. Before we talk about emotions, how I feel, what is the root of my emotions, what is the why and the how and everything, let's take a step back. You want to start self awareness. Uh, Point is, can we introduce ourselves without talking about the different roles that we play in our life, such as son, daughter, brother, sister, mother, father, whatever it is, and different titles that we, carry out in our organizations, like executive, senior executive, whatever it is, right? So if you keep your name aside, if you keep your role aside, if you keep your title aside, are you able to introduce yourself? For me, that's the first step of awareness before we go into emotions. Honestly, emotions is a paradox. Sorry, no, not paradox. It's a Pandora's box. Once you open it, they're going to flow.
Yes.
So उसको जाने से पहले, let's try and understand, am I able to introduce myself without my name, title, and role? So, for an example, if I introduce myself without a name, title, and role, I am a person who is 5.7 I mean, physically tall, 43 years of age, and a person who is very high on making choices and taking actions. Those are my core values. The reason I say this is because जब self awareness का सबसे पहला है कि what are you here for? What is it that you have understood about yourself? पहले ये जानो, फिर go into the emotions, the feelings. Um, that's for me. If we are playing a game with ourselves, because life is a game which you want to play, that's level two. Level one is introduce yourself. If you're able to introduce yourself, I think that's the first win that you have, a very quick win that you can have. That's all I wanted to say about self awareness. Self awareness starts with knowing you. Who are you, or who am I? Ask yourself, who am I? And then get into the other things that you all, both of you, very beautifully articulated as to what are my triggers, what do I actually like, what am I passionate about, what is it that makes me angry, what is that makes me happy, sad, disappointed, whatever it is. वो सब बाद में, पहले who are you? That's it.
Shipra is clapping continuously and saying that is a tough one.
Yeah, it is a tough one because um, I have tried that in many of my trainings. I've tried it in many of my coaching sessions.
Yeah.
And the next question that I always ask is, name the top three people of your life. Nobody, very, very, very rarely people say self as the first one. People talk about parents, spouses, kids, partners, friends, everyone else but themselves.
Yeah.
एंड इफ यू टॉकिंग अबाउट सेल्फ अवेयरनेस जिसका पहला शब्द है सेल्फ, अगर तुम खुद को पहले प्रायोरिटी नहीं दे रहे हो, देर इज नो वे वी कैन बी अवेयर ऑफ सेल्फ. ये सब बात बाकी की बाद में की बात है, लेवल टू की, एज आई सेड. So
Yeah.
level one is you keeping yourself first. So that's it, guys. Thank you.
That was amazing. So we'll, I guess at least somebody. Chiradeep, why don't you participate and give us your introduction? And then it's voluntary. Whoever. We would want most of you. Absolutely. Agreed with you, Kalpana. Beautiful explanation. Yes.
Yeah, I think what Vijit explained, the first step, if we actually introduce ourselves, to our own self, who am I? If we know, our emotions actually follow after. I mean, it's easier for us to understand. So I would say I am Chiradeep and I'm resilient. I
Sorry, sorry. You're not Chiradeep. Don't tell me your name, Chiradeep. That's
okay,
the point.
okay.
Yeah, go on.
Uh, I'm a resilient person. I listen patiently, uh, but not so patiently after some time. Yeah, but I'm resilient. Yes, I recover fast. If I'm angry, I will quickly uh, be ice. Even if I'm in a fire, I will be quickly ice.
Wonderful. Thank you.
It just struck to me how much my identity revolves around being the elder daughter and the elder sister. Great. Nice, Sunidhi. That's what self-reflection is. And thanks to Abhijit to give us a question like this that's making all of us delve deeper and understand who we really are. So please participate and take a while and let's answer.
Yeah, it's a good exercise. It's good for all
Absolutely
of us.
wonderful exercise.
As they are writing, Niti, you can go ahead. You let me speak, you also speak.
I'm an anxious person. Oh my God.
Wow.
Chiradeep, why don't you?
Yeah, I'm reading out. You think about yourself.
Yes. Okay, I thought you were not noticing me. Okay, go ahead.
So Kalpana writes, I'm an anxious person who could get triggered at the smallest instance of inconvenience. Not to me, but to the ones who I love. Shipra says, I'm an overthinker with a solving approach, straightforward and also adapted listening in few years rather than just speaking. And Kalpana immediately remembers, yes, overthinker too. Okay. This is what happens in a team. You know, when a group of person, why we encourage to share here, so that आप जो भूल गए हैं अपने बारे में, दूसरे का बात सुनने के बाद याद आ जाता है. Okay,
Sunidhi.
Sunidhi writes again, I am a curious person who loves learning and loves to love. I'm extreme in everything I do and keep no regrets. Wow.
Just to add, now that you guys are doing that, thank you. Wonderful. Those are actually wonderful inputs. When you guys are doing that, when you are saying all these things, you have your own cues of your own emotions and feelings. That's your stepping stone towards अगर मैं ऐसा हूँ तो ऐसा क्यों हूँ, where is it coming from, and then diving into all those triggers and emotions and blah blah blah. Now that you are writing your answers, read your own answers. तुमको अपने खुद के आंसर से बहुत cues मिलेंगे. It's a very self reflection exercise. So thank you, Neeti and Chiradi, for giving me this opportunity to talk about this, because this is important when it comes to self awareness.
Yes, absolutely. You're most welcome all the time. Yes, Niti, please go ahead.
Yes.
Not about the podcast discussion, your answer. I'm waiting for your answer.
My answer.
Your introduction.
Okay, so that's why I'm still not, the exercise is quite draining for me. I guess I'll say that I'm a person who believes very strongly that words have power. And I believe in using them quite mindfully. And when I use them, I back them with actions.
I vouch for that. I have seen that. Correct. झूठ होता तो मैं पकड़ लेता. Anyway. Yeah, if anybody else is not writing, we can move ahead. I think nobody else is writing. Okay. So once we become aware of our emotions, the next step, and probably the trickiest one, is managing them. Okay. Self-awareness first step हो गया. लेकिन जब आप aware हो जाते हो अपना how you are feeling, 3 emotions or 4 emotions, how you are feeling, how to manage them. That is the most difficult one. And because let's face it, just knowing you are angry doesn't magically make you calm. If you identify that, okay, I'm realizing that I am getting angry, and by knowing that, you won't be able to calm down, because the situation and the surrounding and the people you shout at, yelled at, they're still there around you. So they won't allow you to calm down so soon, even if you realize it. Okay, I'm getting angry. I am feeling that emotions. Okay, what do you say, Niti?
Hmm.
Is it relatable?
I am still in that exercise, and I am actually trying to link that as Abhijit said, that
Yeah.
when we define ourselves, that tells a lot about where our emotion comes from. So now, when I said that words have power, I see myself, I get triggered when people say something and are not able to do that. So that's my trigger point, which irritates me, which make me angry, everything. And the major reason is like what you said, you're not able to follow that. So yes, sometimes I guess with that awareness, our emotion becomes even louder, I would say. All right, and coming
Even
back,
I have a question linked with the exercise we did, but
Abhijit will
it's
answer it.
yeah, it's I know I'm not asking you. I will ask at the end because it will take a lot of time discussing it and it will digress from the topic. So I just held myself back. Please go ahead.
Yes, yes. So here when we talk about after self-awareness comes managing or regulating emotions. So here when we talk about regulation, it nowhere means suppressing or pretending that everything is fine.
Correct.
So pretentious, like we said, when we fake happiness when we are not happy, and we say. So I guess there was this one reel that I saw, and I just because I'm reminded of it right now. There was this person who used to ask everybody, how are you? Like, अच्छा चल रहा है, I am good. उसको continuously हर एक लोगों से वो जवाब मिलते गए, वो चलता रहा, and then he comes to a person and says, how are you? And the person started giving a list of things which was not fine in his life. Salary नहीं मिल रही है, बच्चे परेशान कर रहे हैं, बीवी से, and he had a list of things, and he was like, and the person was like, मेरे को क्यों बता रहे हो? Said, अगर सुनना नहीं था तो पूछा क्यों how are you? अगर पूछा है तो सुनो ना how am I doing? So ये जो सब बोलते हैं I am fine, actually we take it and we answer we are fine. That somewhere we suppress. I'm not saying that we need to go out and tell everybody that I'm not fine, but at least have an answer that resonates to what you're feeling. Not for everyone, at least for with people whom you feel closer to, or for your own self. Because with that, people will also respond and not react. They'll also understand. And here, it's very easy. And if I be honest, I would say I'm still struggling in this part. Now, that's my honesty. I am also struggling. So when we are here, doesn't mean मेरा सारा process हो गया, and that's why I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing this podcast because I wanted to go through that process. I wanted to talk, and the exercise that Abhijit he gave right now, that again, I am going to sit with it again and understand how I am able to relate to it. So I get so caught up in my own emotions that there have been multiple times that I haven't responded in the right manners to other. So at least that realization I have. When I say this, it simply means agar I am excited about something, so I'll jump in and talk about it. Maybe सामने वाले की वो energy नहीं हो, but I do not even check their energy. So that is also regulation, which doesn't only come when we are feeling low. जब उदास होते तब नहीं, उदास होते तो बात ही नहीं करते हैं शायद हम. But हाँ, जब हम खुश होते हैं तब भी I behave in a certain way. I get excited, and that's my emotions overpower me most of the times. So that self-regulation button, I also need to regulate that.
Thank you for sharing that, Niti. And that's what makes this real. Emotional intelligence is a journey. Okay. Managing emotions is like being the driver of your car instead of letting your emotions take the wheel. You still feel the bumps, the roadblocks, maybe even a breakdown, but you don't let it derail your direction. Actually, we allow it. we kind of become too honest with our emotions and let the driving seat to the emotions and it derail हो जाता है. मैनेज करना जरूरी है. नीति, what do you say?
मैनेजिंग का मतलब उनको बंद करना भी नहीं है. It's not
Exactly.
about shutting them down,
Correct.
shutting ourselves down. It's about giving them space. लाओ ना बाहर, क्या
Yeah.
फील कर रहे हो,
Yeah.
bring it out, and then decide what is it that you want to do with them. जो instant reactions होते हैं, मैनेज तो उनको करना है. टेक इट. और ये हम लोग सब बोलते हैं कि जब गुस्सा आ रहा है तो rather than having a fight, having an argument, take a deep breath, move out of the room. But how many of us actually do it? That's the point. बोलना कि एंगर को we have read it, we have seen n number of reels talk about it, as coaches we talk about it, but the point is implement कितनों ने किया. पता है कि एंगर को मैनेज करने का तरीका क्या है, डील करने का तरीका क्या है. वी ऑल नो इट theoretically, but my point is how many of us are practically doing it and implementing it, responding thoughtfully. Yes, go ahead Abhijit, you got that opportunity. Answer. You are an emotional fitness coach who can be a
Don't
mentor.
keep don't keep saying keep saying that. That's too much of a burden. But to answer Kalpana's question, right? When Kalpana
I
asked
did not
that, is
read
it
the question, I'm sorry.
that's okay. Kalpana's question was, is it okay for someone to expect or seek a solution from outside, like a soothing answer or a satisfactory explanation to soothe the anxiety? My only my two bits on that is, Kalpana, and to everyone is, are you looking for that validation? And if yes, are you communicating that clearly? That this is what I need at this point of time. I don't want you to, give me a rational explanation or a logical explanation to everything. But all I want you to do is simply sit, listen, and for a lack of a better word or a want of a better word, validate how I feel is right at this point of time. Maybe a day later, 24 hours later, or 48 hours later, everyone's timeline to each their own. I would know how I actually feel about it, and then a real discussion can happen. But at this moment, I just want you to listen. So if we are okay, I do have myself, or I have certain friends which I'm lucky about, where they're very clear about this. That at this moment, all I need is for you to tell me that what I'm feeling is okay, and it's okay to feel this way, even if it as petty as feeling something really silly, but it's okay to feel that way at this point. And when the clear communication happens, that's what your friends, or maybe sometimes a stranger or a coach or whomsoever, will give you that. But be clear is all I'm saying. If Kalpana, if I've answered your question.
Thank you so much, Abhijit.
Yes, I would agree to what Abhijit said, because at times, but yes, recognizing what is it that I want at the present moment is also being aware. चाहिए क्या, ये feel हो रहा है, लेकिन what is it that I want to do? Whether I want to process it by myself, whether I want a person to just hold my hand or give me a nice hug and say it's okay, I understand, or just be there. So understanding and then asking for support as per what I need. So that also is a part of awareness, and then managing as per my convenience or the way I want to be handled at that particular. Having one trustworthy person at least. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't think it's, emotions means only negative emotions. It can be even excitement or joy needs managing. ठीक है. मुझे याद है जब हम छोटे थे और कुछ होता था, कुछ इवेंट्स सामने आता था, समथिंग विच आई लाइक, सो वी काइंड ऑफ वी एज किड्स वी बिकम वेरी जॉयफुल, एंड जो बड़े होते हैं घर में बोलते हैं, अच्छा ठीक है, अपना खुशी को थोड़ा दबा के रखो, ठीक है. सो आई इट जस्ट कम्स टू माई माइंड व्हेन आई एम सेइंग दिस. सिर्फ नेगेटिव इमोशंस नहीं, अपना पॉजिटिव इमोशंस ऑल्सो वी नीड टू मैनेज, not control or suppress, as Niti said. And it's not about suppressing or controlling it, but we have to manage it. I have another word, harness it. हार्नेसिंग इज वेरी मच नेसेसरी. जैसे ब्रिडल पे हम लोग घोड़ों को पकड़ते हैं, so we don't control them or like suppress them. We harness them. It runs at a speed which we can't control, but we harness them to go where to move. We guide them. Like it's same thing with the rudder of a ship. ठीक है. सो वो इमोशंस को हम लोग को कंट्रोल में नहीं रखना है, सप्रेस नहीं करना है, बट वी हैव टू मैनेज इट, हार्नेस इट. Harnessing emotions is very important. Sometimes we overshare, overcommit, overlook others when we are caught up in our own emotional hype. ये मेरा इंट्रोडक्शन में ये शामिल होगा. I overdo sometimes and I realize नहीं ये थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया. I don't know. Yeah, Abhijit has to say something. Please go ahead.
No, that's a very interesting analogy you gave, right, Chiradi? Just to add to that, our life, if you really have to look at it, it's like that ECG machine which is connected to you when you are low in a hospital, right? It has
Yeah.
ups and downs.
Yeah.
A flat line means you're dead. So now what
Yes.
happens there is sometimes it's your willpower which makes it go up and down, basically keeps you alive. Sometimes it's the medication. So if I have to relate it to the real life, sometimes it's you, it's your willpower, sometimes it's the external medication and the doctors that help you. But ultimately, someone is trying to help you to regulate that. And even when doctors say, right, it's a very beautiful thing that when they say isko dawa ki nahi dua ki zarurat hai, dua is nothing but the willpower that we are talking about. So like the ECG machines, the emotions will go up and down. There is no running away from that. There is no shying away. There is no saying manage it or regulate it. Kabhi upar jayega, kabhi niche aayega. And as you were rightly saying, Chiradi, that reminded me that the tattoo that I have here, it says this too shall pass, whether it be a happy thing or a sad thing. Everything is going to pass. All you need to do is understand how you basically go through that. Enjoy it. That's it. There is no positive negative. If you're feeling happy, अगर इतना convenience लाने लग गए ना हम लोग कि I should only feel happy, I'm telling you, the life is going to be boring. It's very boring. Only happy, 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 or only sad, sad, sad. So it's like that ECG machine. So
True.
thank you for bringing that up. That reminded me of that analogy. Thanks,
True.
Chirag.
True. Thank you. Thank you.
True, true. So yes, that makes me say that managing also doesn't mean, as Abhijit mentioned, that we become emotionally flat. कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा. It's about channeling in the right direction, maybe anger into clarity, sadness into reflection, or joy into appreciation or gratitude. So channeling as well.
And the good news, it's a skill. Okay. The more we practice pausing, breathing, naming, and reflecting, the stronger our emotional regulation becomes. So don't worry if you feel that no, I do not have this, but you can get it by practicing, breathing, naming it. Okay. Yeah. Please, Neeti, what
Now,
you think?
before we continue, I would like, क्योंकि यहाँ पर हम लोग बहुत देर से बोल रहे हैं, we will take a pause and we would encourage if any one of you would like to unmute yourself and share your thoughts. अभी तक जितना भी हम लोग ने बोला, because very soon we are almost towards the end. We'll just need to share one more point. And before we do that, till here, are you able to resonate with us? Are you there with us? So anybody would like to? Yes, Suniti. Would you like to say? Yes.
Yes, actually, I've been enjoying this discussion a lot because emotional intelligence is one of my favorite topics. Like I was telling Chiradeep the other day, it's kind of a personal mission of mine to make myself more emotionally aware, especially because I'm bipolar and I'm a very emotional person. So I always felt like my emotions were the one driving the car. So I felt like I had to take the driving seat and make it more easier for me. So the steps Chiradeep mentioned, yes, I myself do those steps and I've seen how much it has helped me. So this was really something I have actually discovered after doing multiple therapy sessions and multiple courses, etc., on this mission of mine to be more emotionally intelligent. But I'm really glad that all of this was condensed and put together so nicely by you two. So just a little bit of appreciation from my side that this was probably, something like a bite-sized course on emotional intelligence, especially where Abhijit ji also contributed so intriguingly. And I wish that I was able to discover something like this a long time back because this gave me a lot of perspective, which
Mm.
I was probably lacking before.
Mm.
So just an appreciation thought over here. So thank you
Thank you.
for
Thank
taking
you.
up this topic.
Thank you very much, Sunidhi. Stop calling me Abhijit Ji. You will be able to discover a lot about yourself again.
That's a bad habit of mine, I'm afraid.
Accepted, acknowledged. आगे बढ़ते चलो.
And Sunidhi, I would appreciate you for coming out and talking about it so openly about your therapy sessions, which exactly we all need to do. It's not easy to come out and say that, yes, this is who I am, this is how I have been able to discover, and the process is still on. So kudos to you for doing that so bravely.
She is a courageous girl. She is very bold.
Thank you. Truly appreciate that, Sunidhi. Anyone else would like to add something, or should we continue? Let's continue, Chiradeep.
Yeah. So as you all know that we have been there, we have moments when we become aware of our emotions, but still found it difficult to manage them. We already know that already. So have you ever? So my question is, like, have you become like when like have you gone through the moments when you become aware of your emotions, but still found it difficult? Sorry, to manage them. I got confused with
That's okay.
so many.
Okay. So what we'll do, we'll shift to the third point, which is empathy. So when we have
Yeah.
spoken about two, that is awareness, regulating or managing. So we come to the third and the last part of emotional intelligence, which is empathy.
Correct.
So what is empathy, Chiradeep?
Yep.
Chiradeep, I'm waiting to hear the.
What did you ask?
What is empathy?
What
I
is it?
guess
Okay.
Shipra,
empathy.
हंस मत.
Yes.
The
अच्छा
very
कॉल कर
first.
रहा है. हंस मत शिप्रा.
Sorry.
नहीं कुछ नहीं. तेरा
Nothing.
continue.
Good. किसी और ने नहीं सुना, मेरे लिए अच्छा है.
No, वो बात नहीं है. So what I'm saying is, the first statement comes to my mind when it's about empathy. It's not sympathy. Okay, and it's an empathy is something which I can give you a picture of a person who is sitting down on his or her knees, okay, and serving the person who is sitting on a chair. That's the picture I will give about empathy. Okay. To understand, I mean, giving the podium to the person, the opposite person, that's empathy for me. What about you?
I used to consider that empathy is fixing. Let me tell you.
Yes, it's not.
And it's, I always used to feel, but gradually I understood that empathy is holding space for the other person to be who they are, feel the emotion the way they want to, without giving that safe space to the other person where I can be there without judging, dismissing, or minimizing their feelings. Just let them be. Yet I be around. So with no advices, with no gyan per se, bas hai, this is what you're feeling, I'm there. And feel it. Helping them as a support system to just feel.
Yes.
That's what empathy means for me now. It has changed over time, yes.
And also, empathy doesn't mean you always agree with the other person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it means you are willing to understand where you are coming from without judging, dismissing, or minimizing their feelings. In today's fast-paced world, we often listen to respond, not to understand. That's where empathy shifts the game. It helps us to build like deeper connections, not just at work, but in our personal lives too.
Yes. And interestingly, this is our own journey. So, as I said, that this particular emotional intelligence episode is focusing on us. So, when I talk about empathy, it's not always about being empathetic to others. वो बात का step है. पहले being empathetic to our own selves, not saying that why am I feeling this? ये कितना और labeling that emotion कि ये it's weird, it's absurd, or it's bad emotion that I go through. How can I be jealous for someone else? Or how can I? So rather than categorizing, be empathetic to our own selves also. Because I strongly believe that only when we are able to understand and be empathetic to our own self, that's how we'll be able to extend it to others. Because otherwise, though we are extending to others and not showing कुछ हमारे पास जो हमारे लिए नहीं है, as Abhijit said, that self. अगर वो हमारे लिए नहीं है तो वो दूसरों के लिए कैसे exist कर सकता है? I'm not very sure of that.
Yeah, exactly. Empathy allows us to connect without carrying the pressures of solving, and that takes a lot of emotional strength, right?
And I would like to leave you all with emotional intelligence is less about managing others and more about knowing ourselves. It begins with personal growth, with recognizing and respecting our emotion first. So that's how it is. First, self. Three important person. If we do not put ourselves out there, let's understand itself and then everything else. Yes, Charity. Would
Yeah.
you like to add?
You asked a question?
No, I said, would you like to add?
I don't want to add, but I can say because unless we acknowledge what's happening within us, we might just end up pretending to understand others, responding out of habit rather than interaction or intention. Rather than any intention, we just कुछ भी बोल देते हैं, but we need to respond after understanding what exactly the person is saying or going through. Yeah, please.
So basically, बाहर रिलेशन बिकॉज हमने हमेशा नोट किया है इवन व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू हैव क्लाइंट्स उनका सारा फोकस रहता था कि मेरे बाकियों के साथ रिलेशनशिप कैसे है and that's when we like I am reminded of the fact that when we began हमारा जो first episode भी था that was empathy के around ही था where we wanted to make everyone we wanted to talk about that until and unless we build a healthy and a happy relationship with our own selves we'll not be able to work with relationships outside. So the clarity of relationship comes only when we have a very strong relationship with our own self.
Okay, we have come to the end of this podcast. I think if we can discuss more, the podium is the stage is yours. You can give your feedback. Thank you so much for being here. I do not have anything more to say. Niti, if you have.
All right. No,
people,
that's absolutely fine. What we would say is simple that what we want you all to reflect on is when was the last time you paused and asked yourself, what exactly am I feeling and why? So please stay with this question or have this question whenever you start feeling something. And that's about it. Thank you so much for staying with us till the end. If you find any person or anyone in your known in your circle who needs this or he needs to know about it, Chiradeep, would you be kind enough to share the YouTube links in the chat
Yes.
where you can see this podcast again? Along with Chiradeep, are we ready with the feedback form?
Yeah.
So he'll be sharing the link.
As people keep sharing their
Yes, and now there is nothing more that we would like to add. The forum is open. Anyone who would like to add, please continue.
And I stopped speaking about empathy because I feel I'm empathetic towards all of us. That it's too much.
Because of the time, it's already 9:07.
Yeah, it's about time, and also self-awareness and self-regulation itself are two giants. In this has to we need to practice this first. I think empathy will. We can take that session later on. I mean, I want. We don't have much time because it's a vast subject. So I wanted not to speak about it much.
It's fine, Chiradeep.
Yeah.
चलो फिर next session empathy पे करते हैं.
Maybe.
Let's do that.
Oh, that's a nice suggestion. Are we all with Abhijit's suggestion? Empathy पे कर रहे हैं हम लोग? Shipra also says yes. Has given us the heart. Oh, that was I guess बीच में जो आवाज आई थी, that was Kalpana's son.
Yeah.
Is what I assume. That's fine, Kalpana.
Yeah, now you can unmute and ask.
No, Kalpana, you don't have to be sorry. That's absolutely fine. It's okay.
It's okay. She's empathizing. Neeti, take that shot.
I'll take that. Sorry.
Thanks so much, Neeti and Chiradeep and everyone. Thank you so much, Madhviji.
Thank you. Yeah.
Chiradeep, what about the form?
Yes, I'm sending. Please be empathetic with me.
We are. That's the reason we are here, Chiradeep. Jaldi se
I guess
we are
I
here.
am
We
the
are
person
empathizing.
who's acting odd one out, and I should leave, and I should learn from this podcast, which I will. So